All
You have
right,
a
we're here with the Lily channel, and I'm about to start interviewing Reverend Teresa Heupel. And I wanted to first also thank my newest subscriber, Peg with Reliable Billing. She does medical billing, and I met her where did I meet her? At AGC, Accelerated Global Communications or Connections. Whoops. Anyhow, Peg with Reliable Billing. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm excited to hear more about Teresa. You do go by Teresa, do you, or do you go by
I
Terry?
do. Oh, Teresa.
Okay. And you and I met through 1 Million Cups, the entrepreneurial support group slash networking group slash continuing education. So it's awesome. I'm especially doing the interview for my own good to learn more about what you do, how you do it, or just get to know you better and to figure how many female ministers do I meet? I never meet them.
Oh, you need to come to my denomination. We got a whole bunch of them.
What denomination are you?
United Church of Christ, UCC.
That's what it was, United Church of Christ. So what we get to learn is two or three things about you as to why you chose your profession, as well as how you do it roughly. I mean, it's really hard sometimes to describe something that's intangible, but what it's like to be you. Who knows? Maybe there's somebody else out there who wants to follow your path or wants to hire you or what have you.
Right.
How did you decide to be a minister?
Several decades ago, I was in the hospital getting ready to have major surgery. And so this hospital chaplain came in and visited me, and I asked him, I said, and how do you become a hospital chaplain? Well, you have to go get a master divinity. I'm like, I still don't want to go back to school, but okay, that's what I need to do. That's what, because I knew I wanted to do healing work. I didn't
Hmm.
know that was back in the 90s. That was about the only thing that was presented to me. All the, and so I went to seminary. I've earned a master divinity with counseling ministry. I didn't want to be a pastor in a local church. That wasn't my track. That wasn't what I wanted to do. However, after I got out of seminary, I did end up going into the pulpit. I said, well, how do you become a hospital chaplain? Well, you need to be in the pulpit for a while.
Well, what
Whatever.
made you decide you wanted to heal people?
I always innately knew that I could do healing work. I didn't know what that looked like. I
Hmm.
have a great grandmother that did faith healing.
Okay.
And um, it's interesting. My dad, when one of his cousins died, Roger, he would, he said a couple weeks before Roger died, he said, I saw this dark cast around him. I said, Dad, you can see auras. He's like, whatever. He doesn't know
Hmm.
what that is. I'm a Reiki master and a shamanic practitioner. So I had learned these things. And then my dad had told me that. And I'm like, he has healing abilities too. He just doesn't know it because it was his
Hmm.
grandmother that did faith healing. So I always sensed I could do that. And it wasn't until I was in my third pastorate that I had a friend, Carol, who I was having a Bible study on Revelation. I was rubbing my hands together, and I say, I understand you get a lot of energy from rubbing your hands together. And so Carol asked me, she goes, can you wear a watch? I said, that's a very interesting
Hmm.
question, Carol. No, I cannot. She goes, how come? I said, that watch dies just like that. She said, I think you're a natural healer. And I said, I think I am too, because I have a great grandmother that did this kind of stuff. And so that's what opened me up to learn about Reiki and shamanic healing. I just went to a place that was like, I was in far southeast North Dakota. If you go 8 more miles, you're in South Dakota. And so I was right in that point. So about 60 miles north would be Fargo. So I called Fargo, and they didn't have any place, but somebody there knew of a place up in Park Rapids, Minnesota. And so it
Hmm.
was a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. It was fall and lush green, and on my way over there, and I got there, and the lady there, Jeannie, she said, "Oh, well, we have some classes that are going to start here pretty soon." I'm going, "Well, this is just all very divine timing. I mean, who would
Wow.
think?" So I'm like, I have no idea what I'm signing up for. Reiki sounds awesome. Shamanic healing, 2-year apprenticeship. I don't care. I'm here to
Okay.
learn whatever that looks like.
Oh.
And so I ended up going up to Park Rapids every quarter
Okay.
for the shamanic healing. It was the first year you're learning how to heal yourself. The second year
Okay.
you're learning how to heal others. Reiki is 3 classes. She goes, we do not do 3 classes in a row on a weekend because there's a cleansing process that happens.
Mm.
And it's like a 4-week cleansing process.
Yep.
And each week, and she gives you the days and what's going to happen. And that's exactly what happens. She said it's very unethical to do like 2 or 3 Reiki classes like this in a weekend because there's so much that changes.
Oh,
So I started in March. I took a class in October, Reiki 1, Reiki 2 was February the next year. And she says you guys need to wait between 2 and 3 because there's a lot of things that happen in between. So you need to wait a year. So then the following March, I went up for that. So within 2 years, I was having 2 of these, modalities
yeah.
instituted. And when we were practicing between Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, we had the same partners. And so Jeannie asked us, she goes, and what did you notice about your partner? And my partner said about me between Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 is she got a lot hotter, which means the energy was flowing that much better.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm on the right track.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So that's why I ended up getting into healing work. I've done the whole pastoral stuff. It's fine. It's not my where I shine the best. I shine the best when I'm working with people in crises.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking about ministry in terms of pulpit and
I've done that.
okay.
But I have done that in the past. I had 3 churches and I didn't really enjoy that whole aspect. Writing creatively is not something I do very well.
Okay.
I mean, on a regular basis, every week, week after week after week. I can do creative writing, but it takes a lot of time and energy and,
I didn't even know ministers did a lot of writing.
Well, when you do your sermons, you're doing writing.
Okay. I thought they were mainly looking at the Bible and
extemporaneously speaking. No, there's a lot of writing that goes on because you got to prepare your sermons. So,
yeah, it's essentially teaching.
Right, exactly.
So, okay, so you decided that you wanted to do the healing aspect of ministry. Okay.
Right.
And that was because you had that experience with the person who got warmer in your presence?
Well, because I got into this because Carol, my friend, who noticed I was getting hotter, and I said, oh, I need to really, she said, if you really are interested in this, she goes, you need to explore this. So that's when I found out where this place was. It was Bridget's house up in Park Rapids, Minnesota. It's not there anymore. It's closed. But anyway, it was a great place to be. And it looked like a house, and they had like a metaphysical bookstore, and we were doing our training upstairs. So we weren't interfering with what was going on downstairs. And so it was a lot of fun.
So you talk with people a lot in crises. Like what kind of crises?
Emotional, physical. The best part of when I was in the pulpit is visiting people in the hospital and officiating celebrations of life, because people from other denominations and traditions would come up to me and go, you did a really great job. I really like this, because it was a celebration of life. I was talking about the person. I would sit with the family at the funeral home, because small town North Dakota, the funeral home's in town, and you just go down there, and I would be the first thing on the agenda because I don't need to know all the other stuff. So I'd say I stories, scriptures, hymns, and then I'm going to go home. And then I go home and I weave it all together, and it's beautiful, because this is a time for you to laugh and to cry and to do all of those, have all those emotions, because this is your last time with this person or this body or this urn, whatever it is, and so we want to make it memorable and things. So yeah, people really enjoyed that. And I'm like, yeah, that's the one thing I miss from not being in the pulpit, is officiating celebrations of life.
Wow. And what does it look like when you're healing somebody? I mean, are you sitting next to them? Are you putting your hands on their shoulders? What does it look like?
Well, now it looks different because since we've had COVID, nobody's, like, people don't do a lot of touch anymore, which is really sad. But now I've started doing healing work in a different way. I have something called the Great Soul Awakening. And I came up with this program because there's so many people that are hurting in so many ways. And
Hmm.
a lot of times healing, we're all healers. You know, if you say something to somebody, it might just be just the right thing they needed to hear at that time. And that can be very healing. And so I said, we need a great soul. We've had great spiritual awakenings in centuries past, but now it's time to get into the soul, into who we really are. We tend to
Mhm.
disconnect from ourselves or
Yeah.
trauma, you know, little digs. Somebody says something to you that hurts you and it just festers and, you know, like a kink or sore or something. And
Yeah.
so it's time to get those wounds healed. And so I have something called the Great Soul Awakening. So when we tap into who we truly are, we're super powerful people. We're not afraid of, you know, we're more afraid of our power than
Hmm.
we are of anything else because we are highly powerful people and we have the power to heal people or destroy people depending on what we're saying or doing or how they interpret things. You might be thinking you're healing somebody and you're really tearing somebody down. It all depends on a person's frame of reference. You know, it's
Hmm.
because everybody has their background. You and I, we just know each other, but you have had a different soul experience than I've had. You've had different growing up experiences than I've had. So we can't judge people where they're at because we don't know what they've been through.
Yeah. It's
And so I come from a place of non-judgment and pure love.
that's pretty cool. Now, how do you overcome the barrier of someone not having gone to church much or they're not religious and they think Healing with the Rev, that's the name of your company, isn't it?
Correct.
And well, I don't go to church. Is she going to talk with me, or do I have to be really spiritual? Or
No. No, because I can meet people in any aspect of life. Let me tell you, when I was a hospital chaplain and a pastor, you work with all different kinds of people from all different faith traditions. I'm in the Twin Cities and we have a place called Lake Harriet Spiritual Center.
mm-hmm.
And so there's a place there for people to come from all walks of life, and we make no judgment. We don't care. We want people to feel welcome where they're at in their life. And in the United Church of Christ, the UCC, we are open and affirming to everybody. And that's how I approach life. I'm open and affirming to all people. I haven't walked your path. I don't know what you've been through. Let's talk. You know,
Does it,
let's
does it look like a conversation between two people, or since not everyone likes to be touched, what if someone else were looking at it from distance, what would they say it looks like?
well, there's such a thing as distance Reiki. So you
Oh,
can
okay.
still send healing energy that way. And there's a lot of people that get helped with distance Reiki. So I can definitely do that. That's not an issue with me, is I can do distance Reiki. And shamans can, you know, it's all universal energy. And so we just tap into universal energy. It doesn't come through me. If it comes through me, I'm going to be tired. And I don't get tired when I do healing work. I get
Interesting.
uplifted because I'm using universal energy, God energy, whatever term you want to
Oh,
use.
I see what you mean.
Oh,
Okay.
it's all the same energy. It's just coming from the universe. And the
So it's
universe
almost
just, yeah,
it's almost like I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's
that's right.
almost sounds like you're an energy manager.
Yeah, yeah, energy manager.
Because I mean, yeah, there's energy all over the place. I mean, some people don't realize that, but
Well, we have a lot of chaos in our world right now.
and
And
chaos is
that's a high
energy.
energy. That's
Yeah,
energy, but it's not necessarily positive energy.
exactly, exactly.
It's
Wow.
chaotic energy. And it's just, you know, yeah.
Do people are people their main, how should we say, the ones that come to you, are they the ones who sought you out, or did someone say contact Reverend Teresa?
Either way. Um,
Really?
yeah, it all depends. Some people, I'll just have conversations with somebody. Oh, you know, I want to work with you. Okay.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I think for what I do in person, you know, conversation or online like this works. You know, I don't
Hmm.
know that people really do a lot of cold, like cold calling people, you know, like
Hmm.
out of the blue. I mean, unless if they've seen me on a video and they resonate, you know, it's still a human contact,
Yeah. Have you
you
ever
know.
contacted someone based on hearing them and their pain, even
I
if you
haven't
didn't know
called, I
them?
haven't called them up, but if I've been around them, I might say, what's going on, or can I do healing work with you, or can
Oh,
I
okay.
lay hands on you? Is it okay if I touch you? I I had a lady at church, she was having a bad cold or something, and she knew about Reiki, and I go, can I touch you? Or she had a bed sore, so she goes, oh, I would love that. And so she's like, oh,
Hmm.
thank you, so yeah, just
Oh
little things
man.
like that, it's like sometimes it releases things that need to get released so you can get
Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So what is it something about you that surprises other people?
I have a I have a music background. I
Hmm.
have a bachelor of music and music industry, so the business aspect of music.
Oh,
So
wow.
anything but teaching or performing. At one time, I thought I wanted to go Juilliard School of Music, and my older sister, she's such a Debbie Downer. She goes, "Oh, Teresa, do you really think you'll get in? We're from small town North Dakota. You don't think there's a lot of other people that play piano like all day long?" So, so I didn't try out because I said to my mom, I said, oh, I would love to try out. She goes, really? I go, I don't know that I would get in. I didn't try.
Oh,
Anyway, it's
but so
okay.
you know a lot about the music industry and
I do. I do. I do.
wow.
And yeah, and I created a song, and I'm not gonna sing it, but anyway, if you believe you'll receive, or whatever, it has to do with what you put in your mind is what's gonna come manifest out.
Wow.
You're glad or mad, get rid of the anchor, set yourself free.
Ooh. Actually, there was a family that we were friends with in childhood, and the guy, I think, let's see, Peter Tati used to be an attorney for entertainers, if I remember right, or for
Oh,
musicians, and for, yeah. And now he's got a podcast where he interviews, I think, recording artists.
sure.
And it just made me think of that because I don't know anyone else who deals with the music industry,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
something you might want to check on. But
Yeah.
what what's one of your favorite ways to relax?
I read lots of books.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that devours books. I
Yeah.
like to say I read like 50 to 100 books a year. I think I'm down a little bit on that this year, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it might be down because I read books this thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might not be 50 to 100. It might be a little
Wow.
less. But
What kind of
I'm
book?
always, I'm constantly reading. And before I go to bed, I read a little bit, and then I zone out to sleep. So,
I
because you
hear
got to be
you.
off you have to be off your electronics for at least an hour before you go to bed.
That's a
Because
good point.
your brain is always, because it needs that downtime. Otherwise, you're waking your brain up again. So you don't
That's
want
such
to.
a good point. That's one of my goals for this year is to I even put it in my phone calendar, get off electronics at 9, and sometimes, well, if I get home really late, then I might use it to wind down, which is really not the way to do it. It's like steering up your brain. So yeah, note to self. Well, what do you like to read?
Um, I like to read books on spirituality. I like to read books on business because I'm building a business. I'm reading Free Agent Nation right now by Daniel Pink. So
Okay.
yeah, and I like to watch old shows because I don't know much about the new shows. And I don't have a television, so I get on Roku. Now this is really dating me. I watch Rockford Files.
Oh yeah. I ought to look at that. It's been a long time since I saw that. If I think I've seen one episode.
Okay. From like
Yeah.
they were on TV. I saw when it was literally on TV and new from 1974 to 1980. I'm going, oh, these are such clean shows. It's funny, a few weekends ago, I said, I really want to watch The Godfather from back in the 70s.
Hmm.
Watching it, and it didn't even, it's like I was driving somewhere later, and I'm reflecting, I go, you know what, that didn't even phase me now. I'm like, that was such a big deal back in the 70s, people killing people. Now we see that on TV all the time. I'm like, are we really that anesthetized to all this violence?
Yeah.
And that can be a soul loss. An alarm
Mm.
clock can bring soul loss because you're getting this jarring sound. I mean, if you have a regular alarm clock nowadays, but that jarring sound is like, man, you're sleeping so peacefully, and all of a sudden it's like,
I know.
so, yeah, there's a lot of things that can cause soul loss. And so I'm here to help people bring their soul back intact so they can feel complete and whole, because God only sees us as whole. We're the ones that feel like we're
That's
broken and fragmented
interesting.
and stuff. God only brought us
Right.
in as whole and complete in this world. I grew up with major health issues, chronic health
Mm.
issues,
Oh,
and
really?
got because I had surgery, which was
Uh,
lucky.
oh my gosh.
So yeah, so you never know what one goes through. I mean, some
What
people
is
would think, oh, go ahead.
yeah, well, what's the hardest thing about what you do?
Hardest thing, um, finding enough clients to make it worth, staying home to work on this full time.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for clients and people I can serve. I'm here to serve people. And I think if people know people's heart, and that you're really looking out for the best interest, that you're gonna, attract the right people. Not everybody's gonna qualify, you know. I'm looking for women ages 40 to 65. You've lived enough life, you've had enough traumas, little digs, not nothing, not the physical ones you go to the hospital for. There's so many traumas in so many ways. Somebody said something to you that really cut you to the core, and you go, oh,
Dude,
that doesn't bother me. And yes, it does, because it's still bothering you.
why not serving men at all?
Oh, I don't mind serving men. I just think that women age 40 to 65 are my target market.
Huh. They're the ones who tend
But if
to
that
listen.
tend to seek out people like me. There are men that will do that, but they're more of the outliers,
Okay.
you might say. But yeah, that's my target market is women, because more women are looking for spirituality, and that's what I find. Now I could be totally
Interesting.
wrong, and I'm open to men, absolutely. That's
How
not a
about
problem.
kids? How about kids?
Kids, that's fine, but it costs money. So if the parents are willing to pay
Yeah,
for
well,
it,
yeah.
you know, so yeah,
Yeah.
depending on how much time you want to spend with me, it
Ah,
has different price points. So yeah,
is it
I have a lot of
usually
different offerings on my courses too. So
is it usually 2 sessions or might it be a month or what does it usually look like?
well, my premier course is 6 months,
Oh,
and you're
okay.
gonna get 40 hours a week with me if you want it.
Wow.
Well, I'm here to serve people,
Yeah.
and if I can find enough people, I don't have to have a regular job. I can be here Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
No, that makes sense.
You're going to have access to me for 40 hours a week. If you go to a psychologist, you get 50 minutes once a week, and
Yeah.
so the time frame, you're going to get more value for your buck, you know.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
So if
So
you
if
have
someone
6 months, you've got about 26 weeks, I mean, that's a lot of time, or even 24 weeks, that's what, 1,000 hours. 25 weeks is 1,000 hours.
I wonder if someone's not a big talker and they just feel like sitting in your presence
That's okay. You can do that.
is that would be interesting.
Well, I don't expect just one person to show up at a time. If I had 100 people, there might be more than one person on
That's
at a
true.
time,
That's
you know,
true.
and everybody has their own experiences. So I don't have to talk all the time, because somebody else might relate. Oh yeah, you know what, that happened to me, and this is
That's
what happened,
true.
and so
That's pretty cool.
it's a
Wow.
sharing, so
My God.
because I don't have every experience, and I wouldn't expect everybody to have every experience. I grew up in rural North Dakota. Now I live in big cities. I've lived in big cities ever since I got out of college, for the most part, except when I was a pastor in small towns, but yeah,
Wow.
I've been in metro areas in my adult life. So,
So
but I have
whoever out there is listening, then please share this video with someone who has been just mentioning that they've been down or tired or sick and tired, or just think of all the phrases people use when they need some emotional assistance.
yeah,
Because it does attack you physically when you're emotionally not at your best.
actually that's right.
And then they get a hold of you how?
My website, www.healingwiththerev.com. I have a Calendly link, should be there. If you want to watch my video to see if you want to be a part of this, you can go to my website, www.healingwiththerev.com/#talk. And you can watch my movie. It's like 20 minutes. It'll give you a good idea as to who I am, what I am doing, and what I'm about. And so you can watch that. And it's on YouTube and it's on my website. And so
Pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, to make a movie for 20 minutes, it takes about 20 hours.
Yeah.
Every minute you make, it's a lot of editing. And so it's like, am I done editing yet?
Oh my God.
Am I done editing yet?
Teresa Heupel, Reverend Teresa, thank you for being on the Lily channel. And if
you're
you
so
are
welcome.
out there who is an entrepreneur and feel like you have something that the rest of the world needs to know about, whether it's in Spanish, English, Hungarian, or German, I'm here for you. And reach me at Global Entrepreneurial Tools. I can put that also in the comment box, or even just reach me at this channel. So thanks for listening, and we will see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Thanks a lot.